Hello and happy Beyonce Day. Cowboy Carter was released today, and obviously, we have to talk about it. I love this album so much, but I also am still listening. I think I've listened 5 times now, and I still feel like I'm going to need to listen several more before I have fully digested it. However, I wanted to get you guys my thoughts as soon as possible. If it sounds like I'm being a bit quieter, my daughter is upstairs asleep. I wanted to get you guys my thoughts as soon as possible. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you, first of all, an overview of my thoughts on the album, and then I'm going to go track by track and give you my thoughts on what can only be described as the most epic album we could have ever received from Beyonce. So if you want to hear more about Cowboy Carter, you're in the right place. Let's get into it. First and foremost, and I said a lot of this over on TikTok, make sure you're following me there. I am _KJ Miller. This album, to me, delivers what Beyonce is one of the few artists to still deliver, which is a necessity to listen to the whole thing. You are not going to be able to get away with just picking out one song and running, okay? I know some of you girls like to do that in the digital age. You just want to get the one song you like and bop to that. You cannot do this. In order to really understand what Beyonce is saying with this music, you've got to listen to the whole thing. And by the way, it's a pleasure to listen to. The 80 minutes flies right on by, okay? She is giving us a whole 4-course meal with this album. And so you need to listen to it front to back and maybe back to front in order to really understand everything she's putting in it. And by the way, doesn't it just feel so good? Doesn't it feel so good when you get something like that from an artist, such a fully embodied, holistic work of art that it needs to be consumed holistically? There just aren't that many artists still doing that. There really aren't, particularly in the age of TikTok, where it's just all about blowing up a single. And that single, you can ride that single till the cows come home, honey. If you get, a Jack Harlow bop or a Meghan Trainor bop that plays all summer, spring, fall, you can ride it till the wheels fall off. And I'm not mad at that. I'm not hating on anybody. But Beyonce's album is not that. Okay, she gave us 2 singles. I don't even know if she's going to give us any more. And I think she did that just to let the girls know, look, y'all want a radio hit? I can give you a radio hit. Okay. But what we're doing here is so much bigger than that. And I appreciate it so much because it fills my soul. It's basically Beyonce and Taylor still doing that for me. Okay. So that's step one. It is a full album. The second thing I will say about this album before I dive into each of the various tracks. And I did a TikTok live earlier and my husband was making this point. Beyonce truly is above genre. She's above genre. Okay. It's above me. Yes, it's country inspired, but she's also giving us R&B. She's giving us funk. She's giving us rap. Honestly, kind of a little bit trap. She's giving us pop. It's just Beyonce. It's like she said in her Instagram post, it's not a country album, it's a Beyonce album. Yes, a lot of it is country inspired, but honestly, having to try and fit within a singular genre, I think for Beyonce is at this point impossible because her mind is going to do what her mind is going to do. And that booty going to do what it won't to, as she said on Renaissance. Okay. And so it's genre bending and genre fluid in the best way. And of course, Beyonce's been doing this for years. I mean, almost decades at this point, giving us genre bending, but it's at its finest right here on Cowboy Carter. So that's what I want to say to start out. The first is it's a whole album. You got to listen to the whole thing. And the second is don't even try to be confined by genre because she's not. Okay. So with that said, let's go ahead and get into each of these tracks, starting with American Requiem. The fact that she opens with this number, I will say this, I don't know if anyone opens an album like Beyonce. I don't think anyone opens an album as well as Beyonce. American Requiem to me, basically it gives you an overview of so many of the themes that we're going to be diving into, but also I feel like opens up by letting us know what her relationship is with country music and with America as a Black woman, as a singer, as an artist, as a Southerner. I feel like it's exploring so many themes and in a way that feels so bold and bombastic, which is one of the things I think we all love about Beyonce. When she wants to go big and bold, she's going to go bigger and bolder than anybody else. So you get this big song where she's saying, it's a lot of talking going on while I sing my song. I think about all the people who were chit-chatting and talking shit when she was singing her song, Daddy Lessons, her country song at the CMAs, and just not just at the CMAs, but generally what people had to say about her and her ability to sing country. A lot of people were hating and trying to imply that she couldn't, even though she's literally a Southern woman from Texas, born and raised singing and listening to country music. And never mind the fact that Black people invented country music and our mark is all over it as a genre. So many people had so much to say. And so she literally is opening up the album by saying, can you hear me? Do you hear me? Basically, can you hear me now? Because you tried to play games before, we're not playing games anymore. And she's saying that not just to the people who were hating, but honestly, to me, it feels like she's saying that to the country as a whole, to all of America. I'm holding up this album and saying, hear me now. She literally says at one point, a lot of taking up space. As in, I'm going to be taking up space here. You're going to see me. You're going to hear me. I am taking up this space. And so to me, this song feels like an anthem where she is proudly proclaiming, America, have a seat. Let me do what I do. And this time you're going to listen. So I just think opening up the album that way is amazing. So amazing. All right, let's get into track 2, which is Blackbird. Okay, I gotta be honest with you. It's really hard for me to listen to that song without crying because the symbolism of that song and of Beyonce singing that song with 4 other Black women country singers, I mean, it's enough to make anyone cry. So the song features Tanner Adele, Brittany Spencer, Tiara Kennedy, and Raina Roberts. I will say, of these 4 women, the only person I had any familiarity with was Tanner Adele. And even Tanner, I had only heard of in the last month or so. As people started getting really hype and excited about Beyonce's country album, the TikTok algorithm started showing me more of Tanner. But I was not familiar with Brittany or Raina or Tiara. And so I'm excited now to start getting more into these women as well, because I wasn't familiar with their catalogs. But the symbolism of having 5 Black women singing Blackbird by the Beatles is just very much not lost on me, because of course Paul McCartney did tell us that that song really was meant to be about a Black woman and the struggle for equality and civil rights, and how much of a struggle that is for and was for Black women. And so for Beyonce to be bringing these voices together to sing that song, and then, for the opening lyrics to be Blackbird singing in the dead of night, take these broken wings and learn to fly. I mean, to me, I feel like that is so much of what is being done with Black music in general. It is Black people, Black women finding their voice and using that voice to take off and to rise above so much of what is so often put on us. And so it truly, when I hear it, I just get very emotional. Beyonce sounds amazing. And this, brings me to a point just generally I would make about the album. My favorite songs are the ballads. I love when we get the opportunity to hear Beyonce so crystal clear, stripped back a little bit of, all of the production, because a lot of times what she's going to give us is, instead of layering on instrumental production, she's going to layer in vocal, more and more vocals. And no one voice layers like Beyonce. Okay, let's just be clear about that. And so getting so much of that warm, syrupy, sometimes gritty, sometimes sweet, sometimes airy. She can do whatever she wants with her voice, and she does. And on the ballads, we get to observe that even more. So I love it so much. The ballads are my favorite, and the fact that this is the first ballad we get, I mean, amazing. Truly amazing. I love this song. I think it is perfect. And that brings us to 16 Carriages. I will say this about 16 Carriages. The first time I heard it, I definitely started weeping, okay? I was in bed with my headphones on. This was after the Super Bowl, and definitely started weeping because it feels like a story that almost is personal to me. Obviously, it's very personal to Beyonce. It's the story of her career, all that she sacrificed to be where she is from such a young age. But I feel like that's a story so many women can relate to. I can relate to that as someone who has worked very hard to do the things I've done. I can relate to that as a mom and who has struggled with becoming a mom and sitting in this seat as a mother, and with the things that I've had to give up and sacrifice. It's a song of sacrifice. It's a song of looking out ahead of you and seeing there's still so much more you're going to have to do. Like, the work hasn't ended, the struggle hasn't ended. But also looking behind you and seeing how much you've done and had to do to be where you are. It's just a very introspective song, and again, very emotional for me, and one where we're getting such a beautiful Beyonce vocal. One of the things I love about her vocal in this song is she's not doing a ton vocally. Like, relative to some of her other songs, she's not giving you insane runs over and over and over. She's keeping it, particularly in the first, call it 3/4, pretty similar, right? Like, giving you the same sort of thing. And it's deceptive because if you actually sit down and try and sing this song the way she sings it, it is very difficult to do. It sounds easy because she's not doing all the things she usually does, but singing it the way she sings it, still quite difficult, which I think is just a testament to how amazing her voice is and the vocal decisions that she makes. And then Beyonce hits us with Protector. This song, again, definitely made me cry. I cried the hardest on this song. Just the words that she sang about being a protector to her daughter, to her children, being a projector for them. She says, even though I know someday you're going to shine on your own, I will be your projector. I think about that. And then I think about how she literally put the spotlight on Blue by bringing her on tour. Guys, I am a mom. So obviously this song is going to hit a little bit different. As a mom, I just think about all that you do, all that we do to try and give our children the very best, to try and shield them from pain, to try and project a light onto them so that they can shine, to protect them from any harm that may come their way. It is the hardest job in the world and the most rewarding and the most beautiful. And she sings about it in a way that feels like a caress, you know? I love this song. This is the sort of song, is never going to be a single, right? No one's going to be bumping it in the club. But it's an important song. I'm sure it's so important for Beyonce, and it feels important for me, really and truly. Loved this song. Now, I am going to skip over the, intros, as well as there are a few interludes that are quite short. I'm not going to go into detail on those. I think they do a great job of setting the vibe of the whole album. So for me, My Rose, that's more of an interlude setting the vibe of the song. And then obviously Smoke Hour with Willie Nelson is mostly an intro. I will say about Smoke Hour though, Willie Nelson is kind of talking his shit because he literally starts by saying, I'm Willie Nelson and we don't need to know who you are. And I feel like he's giving that both on this intro and another one that he does. So I love that. Love that for me. Love that for him. And that brings us to Texas Hold'em. We know Texas Hold'em. First of all, it's been number one for weeks. Put some respect on her name. I really like Texas Hold'em. To me, it's just a fun country line dance song. Like, break out into the line dance at the party. We're going to have some fun. We're going to drink some whiskey. It's fun. And I'm glad she released it as a single, because to me, it felt important for her to be clear. Like, look, I can give you a fun country ditty. Okay. And even that is going to sound different and better than a lot of country ditties you've heard, but it's still going to be a country ditty. Okay. You're going to be able to do your line dance with your boots and your spurs and your hats and your whatnots, and it's going to be fantastic. So, you're going to love it. And I do love it. I just think Texas Hold'em is a fun song and the perfect lead single, because you're not getting as many of these fun little ditties on the album. You're just not. So I'm glad she led with that, so that the girls who want it can have it. And I'm one of those girls. I want to have that good time. But I would say it's not super indicative of what else you're getting on the album, which also makes sense for Beyonce, because Beyonce wants to hit you with a lot of different feelings and vibes and moods, and she wants to prove she can make all of that cohesive in a way that other artists simply cannot. So yeah, of course, we love Texas Hold'em. All right, that takes us to Bodyguard. I have to be honest, the first time I heard this song, I was like, oh, this will probably be my skip on this album. Like, it's cute, it's fun or whatever, but it doesn't feel like something I'm vibing to. But now on listen like 5, I think I'm on 5 or 6, it's a vibe. It's a vibe. It feels kind of like almost 60s not bebop. What am I trying to say? Go a little bit. It's just, and I feel like she's kind of on a lot of albums giving us something that feels like a little old school, nice little bop. Like we got Love on Top. We got Cuff It, something that feels like just a nice little groove, almost an old school groove. That to me is what Bodyguard is, and it has grown on me. I love that it only took a couple hours to grow on me. Like, because at first I literally was like, oh, this is my skip. Now I'm like, no, why would I ever skip this? It's fun. It's a groove. It's not too serious. Not everything has to be super serious. And I feel like this one is just a nice vibe. And it makes sense, therefore, coming after Texas Hold'em. I feel like these are your two, like, let me just give you a little something, just a little ditty. She's like, have these, okay? And you're welcome, which I love. And then that brings me to Jolene. Let me tell you something about Jolene, okay? Beyonce's version of Jolene is unlike any other cover I have ever heard. And what's funny is I hadn't heard this song in so long that when she first started singing, even that first lyric, because she changes the whole song, okay? That first lyric, Jolene, 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 I'm warning you, don't come for my man. When I heard her sing that, I was like, is that the lyric? Because I haven't heard it in a long time. I was like, maybe. Then she says, Jolene, 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 don't take the chance because you think you can. And I was like, okay, this is sounding a little different to me. And then by the time she said, you don't want no heat with me, Jolene, I said, okay, Beyonce. Beyonce, you done changed this whole song. And I actually went and listened to the original Jolene right after this, because I was like, I wanted to be reminded of what it sounded like. And she changed the whole song in a way that only she can. And I have to say, it didn't feel disrespectful to me at all. It actually felt very respectful. And of course, she does have Dolly Parton on the album introducing her, and Dolly Parton did ask her to cover it. Okay, have you ever heard of someone asking for their song to be covered? Right, so check that. But it felt respectful because it felt like almost giving the other side of the coin to this song. Like, if someone is trying to interfere with your marriage and your man, you can either come to that person respectfully, like Dolly did, and say, please, please don't do this. Like, I need this man. You can have whoever you want, but I won't survive without him. Please, please, please. Okay. That's one way to do it. Another way to do it is the Beyonce way, which is to say, don't try me. Okay. Do not try me. You don't want this smoke. You don't want this heat, Jolene. I'm not the one, Jolene. That's what Beyonce said. And frankly, I'm Team Beyonce, okay? In terms of how I would approach somebody, how I would approach Jolene. Oh, you would get the Beyonce version from me. But I like the Dolly P version. Obviously, it's a classic. There's a reason it's been covered so many times. It's a fantastic song. So I love both, but I don't know if anyone else could have given us this version but Beyonce. And I love how specific it is. Like she clearly is talking about don't come for her man, and her man is Sean Jay-Z Carter. Okay. She said, I've raised this man and his kids. Don't try me, Jolene. And I love that. I love that. And then we get to Daughter. Whoo. During my TikTok live, someone commented they felt like that song was the sequel to Daddy Lessons. I agree. I agree. And I feel like this song is Beyonce letting us know, oh, I am my father's daughter. Okay? You see how that man moved? You saw him be dirty. You saw him lie and cheat. You saw him be ruthless to get where he needed to be. I can do all of that, okay? And then some. I'm no choir boy. I'm no angel. He made me. He raised me. And I love that so much because, Beyonce has said more than one time in more than one song, basically like she's talking about the sins of her father. And so we know very well that like she's holding that man accountable for the things that he's done. But this song is her basically saying like, and I recognize some of him in me too. I know I'm not perfect. And in fact, she has a song called No Angel because she is no angel. And I love that she's willing to be upfront about that, but give it to us in a way that's like kind of gritty. Like in a way like, no, I'm the one. Okay. I'm the one, the two, and the three. He raised me. Let's not forget it. I love that. I feel like she's giving us like big energy in this song, even though it feels, dun, 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 kind of soft. And then she ends the song by giving us Italian opera, full on opera. The vocals are unreal. Okay. And also so unexpected. None of us thought when we started that song that that's how we were going to be ending. So her mind, okay, it just unreal. And now we get into spaghetti. Ooh, Beyonce. Why would you come for these rap girls this way? Why would you do it? Why would you do it, Beyonce? Because she can. Because she can. She wants to make sure everybody knows I will leave no stone unturned. Okay? I will hit every last one of these genres by the time I'm up out of here and own them all, run them all. You can't tell me she is not serving like rap God on that song. You can't. You can't. You can try, but you can fail. She is giving us everything you want in a rap song. So much like confidence, swagger, wordplay, everything you want. She's delivering. Okay. That song isn't long enough. That's my only complaint with Spaghetti. It's not long enough, B. So go ahead and drop the remix where you give us an extra verse or two. Thank you. Let's move on to Alligator Tears. I think this song is such a groove. Such a groove. I was saying earlier, I'm going to make a playlist of just the ballads because of the way they move me. And this one is like it's like a sweet sugar sort of groove, like a sit on the porch with some lemonade sort of groove, like play it for your grandma. She gonna like it too, sort of that sort of vibe. You just, I don't know. As soon as I hear that first lick, I can't not move. And that's the thing about this album as a whole. I feel like I'm taken through so many emotions. So many emotions, so many vibes. This is why I said at the top, you have to listen to the whole thing so you can, eventually I'm going to make my different playlists and whatever, but that is how I feel like I am learning what it is Beyonce wanted me to absorb from this album is by listening to the whole thing, because I'm moving from mood to mood, emotion to emotion. I'm feeling like this is a moment in time where we are letting America know we are here and we will be heard. And then I'm feeling like this is a moment in time where Black women are standing up and letting our voices shine. Then I'm feeling like as a mom, this is a moment where I am protecting my daughter and the legacy that I've built. Okay. Then I'm feeling like I'm standing 10 toes down in this marriage, and anybody trying to come for me, you're going to get it. Like, like I'm feeling all the things I'm supposed to feel. This is what music is supposed to do. This is what art is supposed to do. It's supposed to make you feel things, feel them deeply. And Beyonce does it like nobody else. So that brings me to Just for Fun. So this song is featuring Willie Jones, another Black country artist. And he sounds so good on this song. This song to me, it's one of my favorites. Again, I love the ballads. I love this line. Time heals everything. I don't need anything. Hallelujah, I pray to her, which I interpret to mean I pray to time, because time is what's going to heal me, right? I love this song for that sentiment. Just as someone who's been going through a lot lately, this idea that time will heal it. And so that's what I need. I need time to get to the other side of this. And so in that, I'll pray to her. I love that sentiment. It feels religious almost, this song. And I love that. Again, I'm taken into another mood now, more of a spiritual mood with this number. And again, I love the way Willie Jones sounds on this. As I said, I'm not that familiar with the artists that she's featured, a lot of the Black country artists she's featured, so I'm excited to get to know them a bit more. But I will tell you this, Willie Jones's voice is butter. So beautiful. I love this song. But now we get to the song that I never knew I needed, Two Most Wanted with Miley Cyrus. Beyonce and Miley Cyrus sound so good together. In a million years, if you had asked me, who do you want to see collab? Do you want to see do a duet with Beyonce? I can promise you Miley Cyrus wouldn't have been in my top 500, okay? She just wouldn't have. She just wouldn't have. Nothing against her. I like her fine. But I never pictured them together. They sound so good together. They sound so good together. They just sound so good together. Like truly, like their voices were meant to go together. It truly just is the song I didn't know I needed. And I also love that to me, it just feels like a classic country song. It's me and you against the world. We're going to ride or die together. I'm here for you. You're my baby. You're here for me. It's just a classic country song. Okay. Like it feels like what you think a country song is going to be, but the two of them together don't sound like what you would expect to hear on a country song. And so in that way, it feels both familiar and completely new and surprising. I love it. I personally think if she releases another single from this album, I have a feeling it's going to be that one. And that is also my contender for a song we might get like a televised performance of, like on the CMAs or on the Grammys or something. Maybe, I don't know, but I'm rooting for a performance of that song. To see the two of them do it together would be unreal. And that brings me to another duet, which I can't even believe how many collabs Beyonce gave us on this album. She did a song called Levi's Jeans with Post Malone, which I like. It's a nice little bop. This song to me, it's like R&B meets country. It is, smooth, a little swag, a little naughty. I think it's just like, it's a fun country R&B bop. Like she's giving us fun. She's giving us serious. She's giving us sad. We are on a roller coaster with this album, and I love it. And that song to me feels like a fun country R&B bop. Now after this, she gives us a song called Ya Ya. Ya Ya is very Tina Turner coded. Somebody said that on my TikTok live, and I agree. Very Tina Turner coded. And to me, Yaya, it's almost like I don't even really want to listen to it unless I'm gonna see Beyonce do it live. It feels like it needs to be done live. I still am gonna listen to it, to be clear, but in my mind, I need this song live. She sets it up to feel like a live performance, even just the track. So seeing it live would be everything. That song goes hard. It goes so hard. Yeah. Beyonce girl. I'm not playing with you now. I need to see you sing that song live, okay? Do not play with me. It just, yes, Tina Turner coded, and it's got that just like, this is what you need to do. It's like a driving beat, just keeps going harder and harder and harder. And you need one of those, first of all. I think on any album, you need a song that just like keeps bringing it. And this song is that, but I feel like it explodes. And then the lyrics obviously are amazing. I mean, to open up a song by saying, my family lived and died in America. Whole lot of red in that white and blue. So, I'm out here thinking we just gonna dance and bop, bop, boppity bop. And she's like, nope. Actually, we're gonna sing about an extremely serious topic. Only Beyonce, okay? Only Beyonce. All right, now that brings us into Riiverdance. Here's the truth. Here's my truth. Riiverdance took the spot that I thought Bodyguard was going to take in being the song that I will probably skip most times. I don't dislike it. Beyonce, she's Beyonce. She can't make a bad song, so it's not a bad song. It just isn't necessarily my vibe. I do like when the beat hits, and so like if I were at a party and it came on, I would happily dance to it. But just for me and my listening ability, it's one that I probably would skip. I think the only one. But it's fun, it's a fun dance number, just not necessarily my vibe. Then we get into Two Hands to Heaven. This is kind of really giving me that R&B vibe. Okay, so Two Hands to Heaven, what I like about this song is I feel like we are getting a bit more firmly in the R&B genre here. I don't know that any song is giving us just one thing, and I think she designed it that way, but this song does feel like it's leaning a bit more heavily into R&B, and I like that because, like, look, that's how we all got introduced to Beyonce, was as an R&B singer. So when she gives that back to us, it feels like, yes, familiar. And I love that. This is not one of my top songs on the album, but I like it. I like that it feels good, and I like that it's got that kind of R&B groove. And then she gave us our summer anthem. Thank you, Beyonce, because she hit us with Tyrant. Now, someone who knows more than I do is going to have to explain to me the hangman references here, because I don't know, is she the hangman? Is a different woman the hangman? Is a man the hangman? Is hangman like a ghost? Is hangman death? I don't fully understand, because she says, hide your man when the hangman come in town. So now is she the hangman? Right? Because then she says she's a tyrant every time I write it. So that made me think she's talking about herself. But then the way she sings about it up top makes me think she's talking about something else. So someone else is going to have to explain the lyrics. But I'll tell you what, whether the girls understand the lyrics or not, it's not going to stop them from twerking and dancing and juking and jiving this summer to this song. It's just not. But if one of you could explain the lyrics to me, I'd appreciate that. But that's a summer bop. And thank you, Beyonce, for giving that to us. We got one song left, and it's Sweet Honey Buckiin. I love this song because really it feels like two songs with an interlude in between. And Beyonce was doing that on Renaissance as well with Pure Honey, giving us, and also with Move. Like, it just felt a lot on Renaissance. She wanted one song to be two songs, and that's what we have here. To me, this song is Beyonce talking her shit, which she loves to do, and perfect way to end the album. And of course she ends with Amen, which is kind of a callback to American Requiem, but because it's a callback, I'm not going to review that one. Sweet Honey Buckiin, it ends with her talking her shit. She said, I did what I came to do. Okay. That's what that song is. And that's why I love it, because it's just given that like extreme swagger that we love from Beyonce. And, just is such a great way to cap it all off. So I just have to say, I'm so pleased with what Beyonce delivered with this project. I think she took us on a real journey. I think she gave us so many different genres. Her vocals are top tier, elite, peak perfection, and the collaborations, everything I never knew I wanted. Frankly, I'm happy to listen to Beyonce by herself. Somehow she managed to pick the exact right people to collab with to take it to a higher level. My mind is still blown by the Miley collab, still blown by the Willie Jones collab. Still blown by how she completely changed. Jolene, still blown away by Blackbird. I'm I'm going to be listening to this all weekend, digesting. I want to know what you guys think. What are your favorite songs? Please let me know in the comments, and I'll see you next time.